YouTube Live. It happens to be January 25th, 2025. And I want to wish two important people in my life a happy birthday. The one, of course, is my mom. My mom is 96 years young today. Isn't that amazing? I talked with her yesterday and she was in very chipper form. So happy birthday, Mom. And then the other one is my granddaughter, Sarah. Sarah turns 9 years old today, and that is pretty exciting. And she is a wonderful little girl. So, to both of them, happy birthday. Well, today we're going to be talking about medicine. That's right, we're going to be talking about medicine. Did you know that medicine is not always found in tablets or prescriptions? Many times you go to a doctor and the doctor says, well, this is what's wrong with you. So, what we're going to do is we're going to prescribe you some sort of tablet or some sort of antibiotic to help speed up the healing process. But medicine isn't always in the form of those. In fact, did you know that, first of all, exercise can be a medicine? It is so important, especially, these days, to take care of your health and to exercise. You see, it's important. And I've noticed something, and that is this. At the beginning of the year, when you go to the gym, there's lots of people going to the gym. But then as the month progresses, more and more people drop off and they forget how good medicine is. For example, taking a nice long walk every night. I take my two dogs out for a walk. The first one that I take out, of course, is my dog, Baxter. He's a big old Labrador, and he's out there jumping around and having a great old time, and he enjoys his walk. And then the second dog that we take out for a walk is my British Bulldog, which we call Butler. And Butler, of course, loves to go for a walk as well. And I do that every single night. Why? Not just for their benefit, but for my benefit as well. And I speed walk. So I'm getting my cardiovascular, and usually I walk about a mile every single night with my two dogs. And it's wonderful to do exercise. Also, as well, doing stretches, and also, as well, all these things are good medicine. So don't be afraid to do a little bit of exercise, do a little bit of weight training, do a little bit of cardio, go for a walk. And it is absolutely beautiful to go for a walk on a beautiful, even winter day. I love lots of sunshine. I live in a province of where there's lots of sunshine. Montana is known as the big sky country, but Alberta, where I live, of course, there's lots of sunshine, especially in the wintertime, and it's so refreshing. And if you suffer from SAD, that is that, of course, position or condition where you need sunshine to make yourself feel better, that is a good thing. Did you also know sleep is a great medicine? In fact, when you sleep, your body is regenerating. That's right, your body is regenerating. They recommend, of course, somewhere between 6 and 8 hours every night. Now, I know that some people, because of their lifestyle, can't let that happen. And some people, of course, suffer from insomnia from time to time. But sleep is a great medicine. And of course, if you happen to dream, it can be wonderful as well. It can either be good dreams or bad dreams, but sleep is a wonderful medicine. And it's something that I recommend to everyone, getting a good night of sleep, especially developing sleep routines. They recommend, for example, that you don't, read your tablet or your computer or your phone. Many people do that. It's called blue light. And when you have blue light, what happens is it keeps your brain recharged, and it takes a long time to be able to settle down. So I have a simple routine. After a certain amount of time, during the night, I put my screens away, and then I, start reading at night. And it's amazing how quickly you can fall asleep. I have a series of books that I read at night, and it doesn't take very long to fall asleep. Whatever your sleep routine is to get ready for your sleep, do that and do it well, because sleep is also a great medicine. Did you know that sunlight? Now, I talked about sunlight a little bit just a moment ago, but sunlight is also as well a medicine. When you are out walking on a clear summer's day, there is nothing like it. And actually, sunlight supplies what is known as vitamin D, and it just makes your body feel so wonderful, especially on a warm summer day. Now, I happen to be right now in Alberta, and we are in the midst of a deep freeze. It's minus 32 outside right now. I was putting the dog out, and the dog says, "What are you doing to me?" Well, sunlight is a wonderful medicine. When I lived in the province of British Columbia, unfortunately, the province of British Columbia, especially where I was living in the Okanagan and in the Kootenays, they had a lot of gray days. And when you have gray days, don't you just feel like, man, I don't want to do anything? But when the sunlight is out there, you feel energized and you feel like, yeah, I can do all kinds of things. So sunlight can also be a wonderful medicine, especially in the summertime when you're sitting out there and you're enjoying some sunshine and catching some rain. Did you know that laughter, that's right, laughter can be a medicine well? In fact, it was David who said, "A merry heart doeth good like a medicine." So I always tell people, listen, if a merry heart doeth good like a medicine, laugh yourself back to health. There is nothing like, of course, watching a comedy. My wife and I have been watching a Canadian comedy called Corner Gas, and it's basically a whole bunch of comedy skits featured or situated or in a small Saskatchewan town, and it is absolutely hilarious. There are many great comedies out there that you can watch. You can watch good clean comedy comedians. I was watching a video yesterday of Tim Allen. Of course, Tim Allen is well known for Home Improvement, and he's got that new one called Switching Gears, which is hilarious. And, watch a good comedy, learn to laugh. Go hang out with friends who are genuinely funny. I have two or three friends who are just genuinely hilarious to be around. And being around with people who make you laugh is good medicine. Good company is wonderful. Also, as well, nature or going out in creation, of course, is wonderful nature or wonderful uh, medicine as well. I love where I live. I live in the province of Alberta. And because I live in the province of Alberta, I have access to 3 hours away. I can find myself in Banff, Alberta, and in Lake Louise. And in yesterday, for example, I spent some time online and I was looking at different, places that I want to visit this summer. One of those places is a place that I actually grew up in, and that is, of course, Waterton National Park. I myself grew up in southern Alberta, right on the foothills of and the Rocky Mountains. So every day I would get up when I would be walking to school and I would be looking off in the west at the beautiful Rocky Mountains. And I spent most of my teenhood in, of course, the Rocky Mountains, in the Kananaskis country, in Waterton, in Banff. And now every summer and usually 3 or 4 times a year, I will go into the Rocky Mountains and enjoy the beautiful nature that we have. But I also live in an area called the parkland. That means, of course, we have rolling hills and also areas of woods. And so every day I have the privilege, when I drive my bus, to drive down a rural road called Rural Road 125. And in Rural Road 25, we have these valleys, these coulees, the ravine, where it is absolutely spectacular. You're driving through the prairies, and all of a sudden you come across these beautiful wooded areas and these beautiful coulees. And every morning, yes, every morning, I get to see deer and moose, of course, as I drive my bus. So it's wonderful. Nature is, of course, medicine. Getting out and enjoying the creation that God has given us, that is medicine as well. Did you also know that gratitude is medicine? It's it tells us that gratitude should be an attitude that we should display every single day. Thanksgiving can be a wonderful medicine when you actually go out and help somebody and be a blessing to somebody. That is, of course, medicine. And when you treat people the way that you would want to be treated, that is medicine as well. People interacting in a loving and kind way is medicine. And walking in thanksgiving and gratitude can change not only your life, but the life of someone else as well. That's why gratitude and thanksgiving can be a medicine. Have you ever come across a person who has treated you with respect and with dignity and with kindness? How does it make you feel? It makes you feel loving. You makes you feel important. It makes you feel that you are worthy. That is beautiful. And so when you do that, not only on behalf of others, but for yourself, that is a wonderful medicine. Well, of course, love is a medicine as well. We know that when someone loves us, it can take us to the highest heights or the deepest depth. I remember when I was about 17 or 18 years old, there was a young lady that came into my life, and she made me feel absolutely wonderful. But then one day she came to me and said, I don't want you to be in my life anymore. Now, I happened to be, of course, in a phase of life where, things were changing around us. I was going to college at the time, and I couldn't put as much time in the relationship as I would like to put. So I visited her every weekend, and we had a wonderful day. But then one time she just said, you know what? I don't want you to be in my life anymore. And so I went into a bit of a, depression. And I began to listen to, music that was rather depressed. And so I had my car and I'd be driving around, and my friend would be listening to this song, and at the time there was a song by Olivia Newton-John says, please, Mr. Please don't play me 17. And I would play that over and over. Then finally my friend George said, stop it. I hate that song. I used to like that song, but I don't like that song anymore. So I said, okay. So I went to my pastor and I talked to him about, how can I get out of this? He said, have you ever thought about praying for these people? I said, they hurt me. She hurt me. She's in another relationship. Pray for them. So you know what I did? I started praying for them. And within 2 weeks, I was grateful that she was in that new relationship. And I wanted that new relationship to prosper and be a blessing. Well, that's one way of doing as well. Doing and having a time of prayer every day. That is medicine as well. And it's also, of course, when you walk in love, it can take you to the greatest heights, of course. Not long afterwards, of course, I met my current wife, and I like that. There was actually a bunch of videos on my current wife and the reaction that the woman gave to that. But you see, the simple fact is, when you have someone who loves and supports you, someone who cares for you, someone who's involved in your life, it is a wonderful medicine. You feel secure. You feel empowered. And not only when you walk in love, let's get this. This is kind of good because Jesus said in Matthew chapter 22, that 37 to 40, that we're to love the Lord our God with all our heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love our neighbor as ourselves. Now, the interesting fact about love is this: when you are truly, deeply, and wonderfully loved, you know what happens to you? You get healed. That's right, you get healed. Like I talked about, it's a medicine. You get healed. And once you get healed from all the scars of being hurt and abused and traumatized, you know what happens? You want to reach out and love others with the same love and the same healing that you've had. You want to give that to others. That is absolutely beautiful and magnificent. Also, as well, peace can be, of course, a medicine. Every one of us wants peace. And in fact, what is peace? Peace is the absence of personal conflict and warfare on the inside. In fact, Jesus said, I'm going to give you peace, not as the world's going to give, but he says, I'm going to give you peace that, basically the world can't give and the world can't take it away. When you are walking in peace, and I love this, Jesus, when he was talking in the Beatitudes, which is in Matthew chapter 5, he said, Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the sons of God. We have a mandate not only to love, but to bring peace in other people's world right now. Now, if you've been watching the news, and I've been watching the news just a little bit too much, and actually last night I said to myself, you know what? I'm not going to watch the news as much as I have been. If you've been watching the news, you know that right now in the streets of Minnesota, there is a lot of chaos and a lot of terrorization and a lot of bad things happen. Yesterday morning, of course, a young man, 37 years old, was shot in the streets of Minneapolis. And he basically, when you see the video, it's not very good. And you can see that he wasn't doing what was claimed by the government, unfortunately. And so right now, there's a lot of individuals out there that are not peaceful. And in fact, the streets of that particular city and other cities around the world are starting to turn into war zones. And it's really unfortunate. So what we need to do is we need today to walk in peace. And there's an old commercial that I just absolutely love. Of course, I grew up in the 60s and 70s, which was a very, tumultuous time. And I saw this one video that I've never forgotten. There is a National Guardsman. He's standing in front of some sort of federal building. And there's a whole bunch of young people, we call them hippies, and they were standing there yelling and ranting and raving in front of this National Guardsman. In this particular video or this particular commercial, you see it coming down raining. And all of a sudden, a young man, a hippie, begins to walk towards this National Guardsman. Now, it was in the days where not only did National Guardsmen have guns, but they also had bayonets. And so he has this gun with this bayonet. And as soon as this young man approaches him, he gets into his defensive stance and puts his gun with the bayonet towards this young man. This young man continues walking towards him, but he's carrying an umbrella, and he puts the umbrella over top of the National Guardsman. And the caption underneath basically says, what we need to do is walk in peace. And that's what we need to do today. When we walk in peace and have a calmness and serenity in our countenance, it can absolutely change somebody that we are helping today and ministering to today. And so peace can be a medicine as well. Did you know that true healing starts with how you and I live, and not what you take or what you can, necessarily bring to yourself? We are called to minister love and grace to other people today. And the things that we've been talking about today can be medicine if we choose to allow them to be medicine today. So, what are they again? Of course, exercise. Exercise today or this week. Get a good night of sleep. Go and walk in the sunshine. Remember that song? Where's the sunshine, sunshine in my life? That was the Fifth Dimension. Also, as well, laughter. Laughter is a great medicine. Walking out in God's creation or nature and, enjoying it is a wonderful medicine. Also, as well, walking with gratitude, walking with love, and walking with peace. These are things that you and I can practice today. And believe it or not, they not only bring healing to ourselves, but to others as well. So that's my thought today. Remember, medicine is not always found in tablet or prescription form. What I've talked about today can be such a healing situation for you and I. Let's go and do that today. Also, as well, today, if you like what you've been hearing and seeing, I always encourage you to press the like button and subscribe to my YouTube channel. My name is Robert Dean Steele. Oh, one final thing. Every day I do YouTube shorts, and I did a series of them before I came on today. I would love for you to check those out, and also as well the other YouTube shorts that I do. These are simple little, encouragements. They're all usually under about 1 minute, usually around 30 seconds, and they can be such an inspiration and such an encouragement for you today. So check those out as well. My name is Robert Dean Steele. Thank you for joining me today. Have yourself a great and godly day.